Annyeonghaseyo, and welcome to That 70s Rock Fan, and another video about a Korean show that I absolutely adored, and that show is called Light Shop. This one I squeezed in a little bit under the wire before Squid Game 2, which I haven't quite finished watching either, but I really had to talk about this one. It is a supernatural mystery drama series that premiered on Disney Plus in December 2024. And it's conceived and written by Kang Pool, who has created a really intriguing extended universe based on his webtoons, all of which are starting to interlink as television and movie versions are made of this material. And a key piece of that universe is the wonderful 2023 TV series Moving, which has become one of my favourite shows of all time. And in fact, check out the video I made on Moving to see why I love that show so much. And if you stick around for the rest of this video, then you'll find out there are some links to Light Shop. It's also been directed by veteran actor Kim Hee-won, who was in Moving. And he made his directorial debut with Light Shop, and I have to say he does an excellent, very assured job. And the show itself, like we've come to expect from very many of these great Korean shows and movies, is beautifully and atmospherically filmed, wonderfully paced, and it's the kind of quality production we've come to expect, we've grown to expect from South Korean shows, and indeed, ironically, Disney Plus Korean shows, for all its the controversy at times over Disney Plus properties for Western and English language audio. The Korean shows, in my view, so far have all been outstanding, the ones that I've seen anyway, including Moving, Big Bet, and there are many others. And Light Shop is yet another one of those shows that does not disappoint in its delivery. So Light Shop, just to give you an overview, and there will be spoilers ahead. I will try to minimize those because I'd love you to watch this show and enjoy it as much as I did. But there will be some spoilers ahead. Light Shop revolves around a mysterious shop selling lights, as you would expect, located at the end of a dark alleyway, and it serves as we find out in the show, it serves as a gateway between the living and the dead. It's a kind of a limbo, this alleyway and its surrounds.
밤이 되면 다양한 사람들이 찾아와. 어떻게 오셨습니까? 어딘가 이상한 사람들이 있어. 낯선 사람들.
낯선 사람들이요? 힘드시겠다. 그래도 저는 얼마나 다행인지 몰라요.
뭐가?
여기가 밝아서요. 그리고 아저씨가 여기 계셔서요.
어쩌면 그 의지라는 게 혼자만의 것은 아닐 수도 있지 않을까요?
그래서 여기가 어디입니까?
어디든 사람 사는 세상 아니겠어요?
And the shop is run by an enigmatic shopkeeper, Young Won Young, played by the great Ju Ji-hoon, who of course has been one of my favourite actors, has been in many of my favourite movies and shows. And he never takes his sunglasses in this shop full of these wonderful lights. And he seems to have a very interesting ability to discern things about the visitors to his store. And of course, it's always at night that the store is open, and it's always dark outside. And many of the people coming in there seem rather weird. And he was able to discern whether these people are, as we find out, alive, dead, or hovering somewhere in between and searching for something. And the series does a great job of intertwining the lives of all of these characters, each of which has got their own past and mysterious connections to the shop. And one of the great strengths of Kang Pool's writing, as you could see if you watched Moving, is that he takes these genre ideas such as moving superhero, superpower ideas, the idea in Light Shop of this limbo, this halfway twilight zone between living and dead. But it's about the people and the wonderful stories he writes about those people and reveals their pasts and the connections between them as it goes on. So, once again, in this show, like Moving, he does a fantastic job of that writing, and we soon get to know what it is that's happened to many of these people here, and the story is further filled in by other scenes that are filmed in an intensive care unit in a hospital with a nurse who happens to be also particularly sensitive to be able to see what we would call ghosts and understands what the people that are in this ICU, many of them are going through. And we discover a lot more of them about these people as the episodes go on. You know, the first 4 episodes, and there are 8 in total, introduce the characters and a very eerie setting of the light shop. People wandering up and down the alleys, unable seemingly to get out, looking for this light at the end of the tunnel. And it's, at first you might see some of the scenes as appearing quite horror oriented. I think it's not really a horror show, it's more of a supernatural show with some creepy elements. For instance, you know, a guy that gets off a bus stop repeatedly night after night, and this same strange girl is sitting there starts asking him questions, and so on. And you're immediately thinking, well, there's something not right about this every night. That mystery is built up, and is eventually many of the characters and their backstories are revealed. Particularly as we get to episodes 5 and 6, where really all of the characters, and the fact that many of them are connected by being in a tragic bus accident, and many of them ended up in the ICU. And the narrative starts to explore the interconnectedness of those people and how they ended up in this limbo, and what the purpose of the light shop is, and how it relates to their will to live, and of course it's not just about the ones that are hovering in between. There are people also in this weird world that have been there for some time. There is so anyway, there's a lot of emotional resolutions towards the end. Some extremely emotional scenes. I'd have to call out one actor in particular, Lee Young-yoon. She is always excellent in everything she does, and here she plays a distraught mother of a young teenage girl who keeps visiting the light shop, the teenage girl, at the behest of her mother. And it turns out Lee Young-yoon's character has an unexpected connection, and a very emotional connection herself, to the light shop owner played by Ju Ji-hoon, one which I found extremely impactful when it's revealed. So another great character is, I don't want to call it there's the cast, like as we've come to expect with these Korean shows, the cast is fantastic. These ensemble shows particularly, they play the parts with great authenticity. And but I do want to call it one other actor in particular, is Bae Seung-won, whose character plays a diligent detective called Yang Sun-sik, who understands, looking into certain cases, that there's something strange going on with some of them, and he too himself, through various events, ends up in the alleyway and ends up in the light shop. and is pretty quick to figure out what's actually going on, I have to say. And then his life takes an unexpected twist, one which I suspect is unfinished given the coda scenes post the final scenes in the light shop in the last episode. And that was one of the interesting things about the final episode, that it does tie up many of the threads, brings together many of the stories that the people have lived and the choices that they've made, whether to continue to find their light in the light shop and go back to the world of the living, or whether to stay where they are or move on to somewhere else. And so there's a lot of closure in the final episode, leading to an extremely beautiful pullback of from the light shop into the sky, and you see other light shops in the city in the distance, in this very dark city. Then there's a coda which explains some of the things that are going on with some of the characters, which I suspect will continue, including our detective and various others. And then one of the things that Kang Pool is doing is he brings together many of his webtoon properties he's written over the years, characters from things like Moving and a webtoon called The Apartment and one called Timing appear towards the end of Light Shop. So this shared universe is being brought together and setting up, particularly with the post-credit scene, other things are going to happen in future shows, whether that be a second season of Light Shop or a second season of Moving or a crossover between the two. So really enjoy that. But in conclusion, this is a really poignant mix of supernatural and very heartfelt human dramas. And there's a lot of really mature exploration of themes like love and loss and redemption, and that what it would be like to be in that thin veil between life and death. And that search we would have for closure. So it's a very human stories that he's writing within this weird world that he's created. Contemplation of the nature of existence and the afterlife. So stimulates a lot of thoughts when you're watching it, I have to say. It's an extremely great show. The storytelling is fantastic. Character development is brilliant. There's a lot of great cinematography, and it's extremely visually great with a very atmospheric and sometimes quite creepy scenes as well. So a great mixture of suspense, emotion, supernatural imagery. So Light Shop, check it out if you can. It's on Hulu, Disney Plus. If you're subscribed to those services, hopefully it will be available in other places too. I cannot recommend it highly enough. It's definitely going to be in my top shows of the year. Worthy follow-up or to Moving, which and I can't wait to see what he does next with these characters, continuing characters, and the intermingling of those different shows. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, leave a like and a comment. So consider subscribing to the channel for more of Korean content and other things. But I thank you for sticking with it till the end of this video. Hope you all stay well, and annyeonghi gaseo.